Want me to get some Kleenex, babe?
No, I'll be okay.
She sits in her kitchen, calm, drinking chamomile tea. She's in her 40s. Her smooth olive skin has light freckles and very faint signs of aging. She pushes her long dark hair off her face as she takes a sip. As she sits in the well-appointed living room in Leaside, you'd never know the emotional turmoil happening on the inside. As she begins to tell me her story, her face changes from confidence to sadness. She casts her big brown eyes down at her tea. Nazani Bell, or Naz, is living every parent's, every mother's nightmare. Her son Neil has been struggling with addiction, and she has been struggling to overcome her contribution.
It's my only child. Over 4 years, I've been aware of his extreme alcohol and drug abuse, and he was killing himself. So I had to get him treatment, and I was deteriorating emotionally and physically, getting sick. So a lot of people said, just let him go. He's got to hit rock bottom. So I let him do that, but then he kept going. He kept going. It's like, well, his rock bottom was going to be the morgue.
Naz and her son are First Nations Ojibwe living in Toronto. Right now, Neil is getting treatment at a rehabilitation facility in North Bay. In Canada, alcohol tops the list of addictions, and young men in Neil's age group have the highest rates of heavy drinking at least once a month, with just under 40%. For Aboriginal youths, that number is closer to 70%. Meanwhile, Naz has been in pieces over Neil's addiction, trying to get him help.
So I wasn't a really good girlfriend or a friend or a sister or daughter to my family, and all my energy was just focused on trying to get him to straighten out. So, yeah, it's been hard.
It seems all her energy is still focused on getting her son better. Naz's boyfriend Daryl puts a protective arm around her. He's been through addiction recovery himself and knows it's a long road for both Neil and Naz.
I know it's affected her in physical ways as well as emotionally. And she smokes and does things that she normally doesn't do. It really wears on her.
Naz feels she's in part to blame for her son's problem. She was very young when she had Neil and had to raise him on her own because his father died in a motorcycle accident before he was born. She has worked as a waitress on and off for the last 20 years. It was physically and emotionally draining. She thought she did the best she could, but with all that responsibility on the young mother's shoulders, at some point, going out drinking became an outlet. She now fears this sent the wrong message to her son.
I worked nights, so I wouldn't be home at the nighttime, and he'd be there doing his homework and stuff. And after work, I'd stay out late with my friends, and sometimes really late. And in the morning, he'd wake up, and I wouldn't be there. I guess I didn't set a good example by going out, staying out late, and drinking all night.
Naz's friend Janina says the pattern stayed the same for a long time.
Me and Naz used to go out all the time until up to about 6 years ago, I would say. She must have been, I guess, well into her 30s. We would go out, come home early hours in the morning, maybe late morning. Yeah, a great time.
Despite her lifestyle in the past, Naz has since changed her ways.
I'm happy to say that I don't drink and I don't go out.
She hopes to help her son out of this dark time and break the cycle. But perhaps there are bigger issues at play here, and Naz alone is not to blame for Neil's problem. I had a Skype chat with Vanessa Ampman, an Aboriginal health lead with the Health Integration Network, a Cree woman and an active member of the Native community. She says while Naz and her son may not think the historic mistreatment of Natives contributes to Neil's problem, the multi-generational trauma may be one of the underlying causes.
There is a bit of resistance around acknowledging the nature of how addictions have really manifested themselves within the community.
She says encouraging and reintroducing cultural values and connecting with the community should be a part of Neil's recovery plan.
That's really the foundation that will enable an individual to be able to, address their addiction, to live a healthy lifestyle, to be a productive part of their community, and to really be able to reclaim their identity.
Vanessa also suggests Naz seek support for herself through the Native community to help her build up her spirit.
As a mother, I think that some of the supports that she might consider is to even look at getting herself connected to the Friendship Center. And it's about addressing the fact that she may be in a position where she's powerless, but at least there is a way that she can become more connected in with the social network and receive emotional support, but also receive some services from a traditional healer or an elder, where she can have an opportunity to place the context of the addiction and maybe the racism, so that she can be a pillar of strength and support for her son.
We're back in the living room. Naz has been staying in Daryl's condo, and you can see her touches as you look around. As I mentioned, Daryl has been through drug addiction some 20 years ago and has made a complete turnaround. He's in his 50s now and has a successful jewelry business. Among plush couches, a sparkling chandelier, and an oversized vase that looks like it's been purchased at an art auction, there are native paintings done by Naz's brother that she brought over to spruce up the place. Naz says she's known about Neil's drug and alcohol abuse for a while. She's always tried to help him, but now, with stability in her life and with Daryl's encouragement, she's able to really get involved in her son's recovery. This is the second time that Naz took Neil to a rehabilitation facility, but she's not giving up. She has also looked into other forms of treatment for Neil, like medication. While there are several available, they are not covered by OHIP, tend to be costly, and the side effects are quite severe. Naz also tried taking her son to a native sweat lodge.
In his moments of sobriety for a week, he went there and he did like it. So it's something that he will enjoy, I think, when he comes back out.
She's been exploring the possibility of getting treatment and counsel for Neil at the Anishinaabe Native Health Centre in Toronto to help him, as Vanessa suggested, from the cultural and social side. Daryl has been helping Naz deal with her son, leading by example, but also helping her emotionally.
I'm very fortunate to have that as a positive role model for my son. And he always, is supportive of my son and tells him like, hey, you can do this. So, there's a way, So that's I'm very helpful for.
Well, I suggested, and she went to one meeting, to go to Al-Anon to get support for herself, to understand the disease, first of all, and in order to be able to realize that she can't, control him, and she didn't cause it, even though she feels some guilt there, I'm sure, as we all do as parents, to understand that it's his disease, and he needs to hit a bottom, and he needs to want recovery.
As we go on her balcony for some fresh air, she looks determined to be strong for her son, to move forward. As the spring wind catches her dark hair and the sun shines on her tired face, she smiles.
So he's there now. It's been 5 weeks. And it's 5 weeks of peace for me. I just try not to think of the what ifs. What if he passes out on the street and gets run over by the truck? What if he gets robbed and stabbed on the street? I try not to have too many regrets because I can't change what happened. But I just have to just think positive thoughts and just think that everything's going to be okay. Hopefully when he comes out we can have a better relationship where it's just he comes home from work or school and I'll be there with dinner and we can get back some of those years where I wasn't always there.
I'm Olga Pavlova in Toronto.